Welcome back to the Varkha channel. Today is the day of question and answers with Dear Varkha. Here goes. I have been going through a rough patch recently and find that talking to friends helps me. Now I'm worried that they will judge me for it. How do I get rid of this fear? It's obvious that you have found the expression or the venting or whatever it is that has been bothering you as something that has helped you when you've purged it out of your system. My question to you is that since you were so comfortable initially to talk to your friends, why the sudden worry? Of course, I know all of us are anxious about being judged. None of us like to be thought of poorly. In fact, if you ask me, the most common anxiety that most of us suffer from is the fear of what people think of us. What you need to check with yourself is, why have you had this sudden change of heart and why are you doubting them? The best way to get rid of the little bit of discomfort that you feel about the fact that they may judge you is to actually go and talk to them about it. You can start by saying that, I have trusted you with a lot of my deep emotions and feelings and have believed that you are the people who would be able to be non-judgmental about me. But of course, we are all human, and I wouldn't mind if because of me expressing myself, you will have a certain different opinion about me. We call this technique disarming, where sometimes by talking about the problems that we may expect to happen to us, we have disarmed the person who may have some power over it. So once you actually tell them about the fact that they're free to judge you, you'd be surprised that they possibly wouldn't do anything of that. But of course, it's cheap solace to know that people may or may not judge us. What you have to ask yourself is, are you comfortable with yourself about what you've disclosed? And more often than not, when we are at ease with the discomfort that certain judgments cause us, we by and large can get over it. In fact, a philosopher once said, the only way not to be judged in this world is not to be born. My school has a culture of bullying. I want to talk to my parents and teachers about it, but I don't want them to think that I'm complaining. I'm also worried that my bullies will find out. What do I do? First, let's understand what are the two kinds of bullying. One is an overt, aggressive, in-your-face kind of bullying where people actually act out. They may call names, they may abuse, they may actually sometimes physically get aggressive. That is active aggressive bullying, where there is name calling, ridiculing, snatching away things, and sometimes even being physically abusive. Then there is another kind of bullying called passive aggressive bullying, where many times people are not included in groups, they are left out, they are not invited to parties, they are not allowed to sit on the same lunch table in school, etc. That is a passive bullying where the person is purposely left out of things and made to feel alienated and withdrawn. You may go ahead and complain against both kinds of bullying, but let's understand the psyche or the mindset of a bully. A bully is a very disturbed person who is self-loathing and self-hating. Why am I saying that? Because a happy, at ease person would rarely want to bully or put someone down. So the bully is a self-disturbed, unfortunately self-hating creature whose only way of getting even with others is to put them down. Because he hates himself so much, he also wants to usually trouble other people. When you call out this bully, in a way, you would be helping him. You would help him because he would be noticed and taken for remedial or corrective action. Not corrective action against putting others down, but more for corrective action to help himself become a much healthier and a much happier soul. Now let's assume that the bully gets to know that you have called him out. In a way, he's not upset because you've called him out. He's upset because you have understood his distress. You've understood how much he or she suffers internally. And in a way, you've exposed him to his own suffering. So take the risk, because your calling out the bully will actually be doing him a world of good. You will help him to get the professional help that is required to help him overcome his self-loathe and his self-hatred. Good luck. I have a terrible fear of heights and closed spaces. how do I get over this? So let's divide this question into actually two parts. The fear of heights is nothing but acrophobia. More or less, many of us have a reasonable fear of heights, and actually it's not really the fear of heights, it's called the fear of falling. If you go on top of a mountain or look down from a very, very tall building, that is acrophobia, usually caused by the fear of falling, and it is not really the fear of heights. So a natural fear of falling comes because the vestibular and the proprioceptive system seems to be in a kind of a funk. If you feel that you have some disbalance in your system, please do check a balance specialist to see if there is any balance problem that can be corrected. But if you have a normal fear of heights, say for example you can't climb a ladder or you can't climb onto a chair, then it may be fair to say that you have something what we would call an irrational phobia. So please make a clear distinctive difference. Acrophobia is nothing but a fear of heights, but the fear is of very, very significant heights, which is usually due to a misfunctioning of the vestibular system. But a regular fear, which is not being able to climb onto a ladder or a chair, is actually an irrational fear and which would need some psychological remedial help. Now let's come to the second fear, which is the fear of closed spaces, which is also known as claustrophobia. That is nothing but an anxiety disorder where the person fears being restricted, controlled, and feels trapped. He or she believes that they will not be able to breathe, that they will not be able to escape, and are constantly agitated about the fact that they may actually have no control over the situation in which they are confined. So you would see many people, for example, extremely fearful about going into a closed lift, some of them fearful about staying in an airplane, some of them staying in very small confined areas or spaces. That is an anxiety disorder. And what is the anxiety? Anxiety is about the fact that they may have no escape should any trouble befall them. So they don't trust themselves in coping with any difficulties that they are faced with. If you find yourself debilitated because of the fear of closed spaces, it is important that you seek proper psychotherapy to help you rid yourself of your claustrophobia. Thank you for watching the Varkha Chulani channel. If you have any questions, please feel free to write to me at varkha@varkhachulani.com. If you like what you hear, please do hit the like button and do share my video, and of course continue to subscribe. Till next week, it's goodbye and thank you for tuning in.